Hi, my name is David Kyle, and my topic is promoting lifelong physical activity in youth with physical disabilities through adapted sport. For a little bit of background, disability is extremely common in the United States. It makes up 19% of our population, which would make it the largest minority group. People with disabilities don't typically die from their disability. They die from heart disease. And people with disabilities are much more inactive than people without disabilities. And this is really the cause of the poor statistic for heart disease. And so we need to help individuals with disability to be more physically active. Being more active has so many benefits, including improving health, giving people a higher quality of life, and ultimately reducing heart disease and that chance for death. But unfortunately, there are many barriers to physical activity for people with disabilities. The disease or the disability itself can be a big barrier. Accessibility to facilities or maybe transportation can be a barrier. And a big one that I want to focus on with this literature review is a lack of motivation. And we also, when we deal with barriers, we want to talk about facilitators. What can facilitate an increase in physical activity? Well, when we talked about access, we have the ADA that's helped with that. And so people can get assistance with accessibility, and we see improvements like that all around. And many don't consider, though, the impact that motivation has for physical activity as a facilitator. And when we look at being more physically active, a lot of people turn to sports, and this is the same with people with physical disabilities. So we want to look at increasing physical activity through adapted sport, and it's very common to play adapted sport with someone with a disability, and especially as a youth. It's not unlike any other person that would play a sport as a young person. But we know, as we might have played ourselves as a young person, that the coach can have a big impact on whether we continued playing that sport or we dropped out of that sport, and maybe ultimately negatively affected us in our future physical activity in general. Such things as running for punishment could create a bad motivation for physical activity. So what we want to do is pull out some things out of the self-determination theory, which is theory for motivation, and apply that to coaching adapted sport. So coaching poorly, we know, is overly focused on competition and performance, and ultimately leads to burnout and people quitting. But coaching with the concept of self-determination theory, we're going to focus on skill development, focus on creating autonomy in the athletes, and help them to create some intrinsic motivation for sport and physical activity in general. And number one thing is have fun. So I believe that the literature shows that playing adaptive sport using coaching theories with the self-determination theory may just motivate people with disabilities to be more active. Thank you.